In Thailand, 2022 was, by many accounts, the year of Chadchart Sittipunt. The ambitious independent candidate won the Bangkok gubernatorial election in a landslide, becoming the first democratically elected governor after 9 years of military rule. His win marked a significant moment in Thai politics, with a broad platform of progressive urban development and transparent governance, appealing to a broad spectrum of voters seeking substantial change. He's now been the governor of Bangkok, a city of over 10 million people, for 2 years. Although he's halfway done, he's optimistic about the future in the face of severe challenges in society, as well as within the maze of Thai bureaucracy.
Nice to see you again. All right.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Governor.
Thank you, Matthew.
Okay, so you won the election as an independent in 2022 in what some call a landslide. You were already pretty popular online, but how did it feel that night when you found out that you had won 1.3 million votes?
I think responsibility, big, huge, because governor, difficult job. And I think even I elected by 1.3 million vote. I mean, I have to responsible for everyone. 5 million plus maybe unregistered another 5 million, So it's a big job. So that one very feel some pressure coming in that day. Yeah.
Pressure about what?
About responsibility and deliver the job, Yeah. So it's not like so happy. So it's after the winning, so it's exchanged with a big responsibility that you have to do it. Yeah.
Okay, so you were democratically elected.
Yeah.
You participated in an election where you won the most votes, so you got the job.
Yeah.
In some form of Thai democracy, that's not always the case. So how do you feel about the outcome or the results of the Thai general election in 2023?
So I think they are complicated. That's why I run for the local government. Maybe it's a little bit more straightforward. For the general election, there's a complicated rules of constitution and everything. So it's more complicated than the local government. Yeah.
Is it democratic?
It's different from other countries.
You've been in office for 2 years now. There's a couple left to go. One of your flagship achievements has been Traffy Fondue, an online reporting system where people can report local issues and see them fixed. Where did you get the name for that project? What was the inspiration and how's it going?
It's done by the government organization long time ago. And Traffy Fondue is a Thai word. It's like informing or like a complaint, Fondue. And then Traffy maybe come from something, so it's combined together. But I think that's very interesting platform, and I think that's really changed the way civil servant provide service for the people. Because when I first became governor, right, 2 years ago, people said that, we don't have a budget because budget was allocated by the previous administration before we came in. But I think the problem is not the budget that we lack. I think we lack trust among us and the people, We don't trust people and people don't trust us. And Traffy Fondue is a trust protocol. I think it helps make people trust us more. Why? Because it's if you don't know, Traffy Fondue is just an application that you can take picture, report the problem to us, right, and write some complaint. So with this application, it's very powerful. It empower people. And then the first day we opened the platform, the 1st of June, 2 years ago, they have 20,000 complaints. And it really shocked our team, our district staff, because they never have a direct response to the people like this. And after that, our team, instead of looking at me, they turn back to me and then look at the people and respond to the people. So far until now, they have more than like 700,000 complaints, and we fixed more than 500,000 of them. I think people trust us more because we respond to their needs quick and more efficient. Yeah.
Are there any international cities that you find inspirational or that you use as a reference sometimes for the work that you're doing here in the city?
I think cities face similar problem, and we can learn from one another. Maybe you look at the close to us, Singapore. I think they have good city planning, like planting the trees. They talk about heat islands, which you go to Singapore, temperature reduce 1 or 2 degree in the shade, Or even in Taipei, I think Taipei have a similar situation like Bangkok. The motorcycle the hawker, or even Singapore, the hawker center would be a good example. So I think there are many good examples around the world. So I think that's why I like to go to like major conference, because sometimes we exchange idea, exchange solution, and the problems are similar, and we can learn from each other quite well.
You recently said in a press conference that 785 kilometers of sidewalk in Bangkok has been upgraded. In terms of total progress, what does that mean? How much sidewalk is there? Because there's a lot of concern online from people about Bangkok not being friendly for people with disabilities.
Yeah, I think you raised an important issue. I think walkability is very important indicator for the city. If you don't have good walkability, you cannot be a good city. In Bangkok, we have about 6,000 kilometers of road street. So that means maybe 12,000 kilometers of pedestrian walkway, but including in the soils. So I think we need to improve on the walkability of the street. 700 kilometers still not too much. So I think the aim to be in the thousands. So each year at least 1,000 kilometers should be improved. So I mean 2 more years, maybe at least 2,000 kilometers have to be improved.
When you say improved, can you be a little bit more specific?
Yeah, so there are 2 ways of improving it. One is redo everything. So like we do on Plenjit, on Lang Suan Road. So we remove everything, put new layer in. But in the smaller size, maybe you just need the paint. If you don't have a proper walkway, but you have the street, you can do paint that show this is where people walk, separate from the traffic. So that gives the comfort of the pedestrian. So there can be different level of improvement depend on the type of the road or the street that you are on.
Are there specific initiatives for people that are mobility limited, like people who have wheelchairs?
Yeah, I think that's a key thing that the new design, we concern about the wheelchair, because not only for the handicap, but also for the elderly in the future will aging society, even now. So you see more wheelchair. So the newly improved pedestrian walkway should accommodate wheelchair and aging people. And if it's good for wheelchair, it's good for everyone.
Over the last 2 years, thousands of new CCTV cameras have also been installed throughout the city. You've said before that the use of AI technology has been helpful in solving some crimes, and that surveillance could be used to help solve the traffic problems. Can you ensure the public that there is no concern to their privacy with regards to these CCTV cameras and the use of AI technology in public?
Yeah, I think that's an important issue, and I think we have the law requiring on that about the private issue. So right now, what we are using mainly for the license plate reading for the illegal traffic violation. So I think that's one thing, but we don't use any face recognition or something like that yet. So this will be serious. So if we really go to that advanced, that there will be the violation of the privacy. So we have to have a strict regulation on how we implement it, and we have to tell the public clearly what are we using it for.
So are you saying clearly that that technology is not being used to track their identity right now?
Oh no, right now no. We just do like for sampling during Songkran day, but it's not. We don't have database and anything. So it's just in the trial process. Mainly right now we use for motorcycle on the footpath. So we read the license plate and we can tell the violators, but not the face recognition yet. So mainly on the license plate yet, and we tell them that this place is recorded. If you violate the laws, you'll be recorded. Yeah.
Is there any plan for the public to have transparency into the use of such CCTV? Because throughout the city, there's all types of police checkpoints, for example, that are known to be corruption hotspots, and people want accountability into police. So they're wondering generally, does the CCTV benefit people in that way as well?
For anti-corruption, you mean? Yeah, I think right now we're thinking of putting the CCTV on our city police, because when they interact with a street vendor or other people, they can record what they interaction, So that may be one thing to help reduce the corruption. So I think technology can be used to create transparency, but with a proper understanding, and you have to inform everyone involved what the capacity with, what are you using it for. So I think, there are both sides, right? Privacy and also transparency for the application.
Traffic is one of the most commonly known issues in Bangkok for Thais and tourists alike. You have implemented some measures to reduce the traffic problem. However, in the last 2 years, traffic has gotten undeniably worse.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you're facing in finding the solutions? And how is it that we get out of this horrible situation of, people sitting in their cars and increasing carbon emissions and greenhouse gases, this type of thing?
I think the only solution to this is public transport. You cannot drive the car and then you want to be no traffic jam because you are the cause of the problem. So I think the problem that we have that we don't have good enough public transportation. Why? I think because one of the configuration of the Bangkok city, we have so many dead end soil. If you have a BTS, right, but the last mile connectivity is still poor. Unless you afford to live along the BTS or the train line, you need to go far away into your house. The last mile connectivity is poor. So I think that's one problem that we try to improve. Even I talked to you about the walkability, right? The last mile connectivity by walking. You can improve walking 1 kilometer from the train station. So people can walk to the destination. We improve the use of public transport. So this is one important thing that we have to improve on it. And that's why they have so many motorcycle taxi in Bangkok, 100,000 of them, because that provide last mile connectivity. So I think we have to promote public transport, which, it's not only BMA who are doing it. They are responsibility of many organizations in the city, Ministry of Transport, Department of Land Transport, police. So I think we need to have a combined efforts from all the parties involved. So traffic, not easy thing. We have to work together, or even with the people, Because I once met one of my friend, and then he asked, "Oh, Governor, when you finish all the mass transit, there'll be no traffic jam, and now I can drive to work, right?" So we still have this mindset of using car. No way that we can avoid traffic jam. So people have to use public transport more. Right now, you can see we start to do like a bike sharing, connecting even from here, City Hall. You can do bike sharing. You can hire bicycle and ride to the train station about 800 meters away. Park your bike and then take the train. So if we can improve this last mile connectivity, I think we'll see more usage of the public transport.
So are you still planning on trying to get the prices of public transport to be fair? Because a lot of people are still saying that they can't afford to take the
that's
BTS.
One thing. So that's one of the problem of the overall problem of the public transport. The cost is too high. And then the not very high income, you are pushed away from the city center, right? You end up paying more transportation fee. So that's a paradox, So I think that's the important thing that we need to find a way to reduce. Either bring the affordable housing to work or make affordable transportation.
There's taxis stopped under major train stations, at tourist attractions, at shopping malls, and it causes bottleneck traffic chaos in the city during rush hours.
Yeah.
And there's regulations to prevent that, but they're not being enforced. And why?
I think that it's not easy to enforce, because you need so many, it's a mindset of the driver too. So I think we need to provide some convenience for them too. We require each shopping mall to have a private parking space. We need to enforce public parking space too, that you need to have a public for taxi to go in, drop your passenger and come out. So I think we implement some in Mabung Krong or some Central World. So I think we need to do that. And even now, when you have application, you call a Grab and they end up stopping in the middle of the road to take passenger, right? So we need to get help from this application that if you come to pick up passengers or drop off, you go into the provided space, not in the middle of the road. So I think that's one thing. Yeah. What I call is a social contract. Social contract is not enforcement of the law, but it's how we interact with each other. I think this is also very important. In Bangkok, we see lots of problems coming from garbage littering, parking in the wrong space, motorcycle on the footpath. I think that shows that our social contract is not that strong. You cannot use law enforcement for every violators, but you have to know how you should behave in the city too. So I think this one is another important thing that we try to nudge people on this issue. We cannot really enforce law on every violator. But if people understand what they should do proper to the society, that's another important thing that.
Why can't you enforce the law though?
No, I mean we can, but you look at the motorcycle who ride on the walkway, right? There are thousands of them. You have people who litter the garbage. We cannot really catch everyone who litter the garbage, right? So I think if you have some sense of responsibility, it may be as important as the enforcement of the law. So I think we should do both track, that you should be responsible for the society too. And okay, the law enforcement should enforce the law too. But you cannot rely solely on the catching everyone. So I think there are two ways that we have to push together. Yeah.
Unhoused people exist all over the world, and in Thailand it was relatively uncommon to experience that in the last decade. However, in the last couple of years, it seems that the unhoused population has increased in areas such as Democracy Monument or around Sanam Luang or Pinkau Bridge. What can people do to help with the situation, and what are the challenges that you're facing in that realm?
Okay.
Because it seems to be something that's out of control.
I think we are counting the number, and maybe they are more visible, but the number is low. But we have 1,600 homeless people in Bangkok. So we do some total counting. The number doesn't increase that much, but the appearance maybe we can see it more visible. I think one reason is that we have many people who want to help, like in Ratchadamnern, right? At night you will have someone come and then distribute food at Ratchadamnern. So people gather around the drop zone for the food. So you see that's where you see people or the homeless come together at one location. So you see the maybe densely populated in that area. And also we combine with the people who maybe they have home but they want to come and get like a distribution of the food. So I think we have to seriously tackle this problem. Right now we arrange one location not far away from here to be the place for drop off of the food. And then if the homeless, they should come here, get proper food, take a bath, and then registration. And maybe if you want some work, there will be some work that people who want to find workforce can come and find work. You don't have an ID card, we provide ID card for you. So I think it should be the center that people come. And if you want to help, you can come to this location and distribute your food or the thing in need for the people. Right now, the problem is that we don't have the proper, we call it drop-in for people who want to help. End up, they help on the street and even attract more people who are in need to that location. So we are in the process of providing this space for the homeless. And then we have to work with another department who is responsible for the long-term shelter of people in need.
On a similar note, the Pheu Thai government has recently suggested a somewhat controversial law to increase foreign ownership of condos from 49% to 75%. That law would also allow for land leases of up to 99 years. And Bangkok is full of empty condos, and more are being built. How do you feel about this law?
I think there are two ways, right? I mean, emotion and rational. So emotional, I think people will say, oh, it's like selling your land, your country, right? I think it's a kind of a perception that we have. But if you think seriously, maybe we have to sit down and discuss it, whether is it good for the economy. That's good and bad. The good, okay, we create demand for the foreigners to come. In the future, I think we need some expats. And if they can have their residence here, maybe easier to attract talents to Bangkok. On the same hand, maybe it can create demand that make the housing less affordable for Thai people. So I think you have to sit down and discuss this rationally.
Many Thais believe that this law would be essentially selling the country to foreigners, selling Thai identity.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
That's what it's like emotion, So you have to think about that carefully. But the land is still in Thailand. So I'm not sure whether that really, but I said it's an emotion thing that you have to have a good ration to counter this emotion argument, But as I said, important to look at the number seriously and see what's the real impact, good and bad, and then whether to sell the nation or not. We can look at other countries too. I think it happened in many places around the world that you can have a long lease, you can have a condominium. So we can study from other countries the impact of them.
Bangkok is a landmark and destination bucket list item for people from all over the world. And there's some of the country's greatest treasures are here in the city, including the Grand Palace, where non-Thais have to pay 500 baht or $15 to enter, where it's displayed clearly next to that Thais enter for free. How do you feel about dual pricing?
I think I don't feel anything wrong with it, because I think it maybe not happen only in Thailand, in other places. When you come to other cities, sometimes you have to pay for the arrival fee, because I think in Thai people we pay tax, we pay other things too. So I think if they need to charge for the foreigner, I don't see anything wrong. But you have to provide proper service for them too, right? You need to have like maybe the brochure, English brochure, good toilet, and good amenity, good taxi transportation. So I think you need to make the amenities or maybe facilities good for them too. But I don't see anything wrong with that. And then if you charge the Thai people to enter Grand Parade, it would be a big problem for us too.
How about on the national level though, like at national parks, where foreigners have to pay 5 to 10 times more than Thais to enter?
Okay, we have to find what's the reason for it, what's the reason for it. But that I don't know the details. But for the place in Bangkok, I think if it's in a reasonable range, I think acceptable. For the national park, maybe we can apply the same concept. But as I said, you need to provide facilities for them that accommodate the foreign visitors too.
So do you think that working people, expats that pay taxes should have to pay a double fine or double entry fee?
Yeah, so in detail, you might have some special card for them to get into Grand Palace, with the cheaper price. So in detail, we can think about that,
Are you thinking about that? There's a lot of expats that want to know.
Yeah, I think we can, but as I said, it's not belong to BMA, But if it belong to BMA, we will think about it. Whether if you pay tax, I mean, look at when I go to the underground train, right? And you see it's packed with a foreigner. We love it, But I think many of them, we pay the same fare, either you are Thai or foreigner. So in certain things, we pay the same fare. But like transportation built by local tax a lot. So I think some we charge the same, some different. But if you are expat, maybe we can think about it, If you pay tax and you stay here long enough, so we consider Thai citizen. Yeah.
On the campaign trail, you mentioned that after the 2014 coup, you were detained.
Yeah.
And shortly after your election, you introduced 7 protest zones in Bangkok where people can go to demonstrate safely and legally. Mm-hmm. If you're telling people when and where to go, is it actually a protest?
No, I think we can provide safety for them, and convenience for others, right? I mean, it's a place where maybe it's not in the middle of the road. We can monitor you, help you safer. I think maybe as a law also, the law allows us to provide safe zone for them that they can freely express your idea.
So do those safe zones that are designated for people to go to protest, how can you really make them feel like they're not going to be spied on by police, or that everyone won't be dispersed at once, that it's actually safe? Because a lot of people are worried to congregate in one area as told by the government.
I think even you are other place, you got to be spied on anyway. So we cannot guarantee that you're not spied on, because we cannot tell who is who, But at least the violence, CCTV, the permits, we have the guard, So at least we can have some safety measure on it. But I cannot guarantee that there will be no spies in the place, But I think in our law, it allows us to provide the space. We can announce the space, public space, that people can gather and express their opinion. They can reserve the location. So I think it's better than going on the street. And then I think it's from the record, I think it's after we provide this space, I think it's much better. I mean, people come and then talk what they want and freely. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
No, I mean, if you want both sides, I mean, people come to hear what you said. They record what you said, you know.
People are worried that the police are watching the protest zone, frankly, and that they can collect their identities from these safe zones of protest, that the police could be abusing these safe zones.
I don't think we can collect identity from that. I mean, even you protest on the street, there will be police there too, you know, so hear what you say. So I think, but the idea of the safe zone is you can come at this place and then we provide space for you. And I think it's safer than to be on the street on other locations. Yeah.
Marijuana is legal and shops are everywhere, especially here in Bangkok. Recent polls show that a majority of Thais actually want it to be rescheduled as a narcotic. What is your take on this issue?
As a law, you know, I don't agree with allow it to be dispensed publicly or freely. But I mean, right now, the law said it should be for medication only, not for recreation, you know. So all the shops supposed to be for medication, but end up enforcement not easy, and it's not enforced by us. It's enforced by the Ministry of Health, you know, how to consume it. And then for medication, if you feel that you have headache and you want marijuana to reduce your headache, maybe it consider part of the medical. So I mean, as a governor, I don't think it's a good idea to have so many marijuana shops around the world. And even our friends in other cities, you know, we talk to many other countries too, and they are worried about this too. You know, people come here, buy some cookie, some brownie, end up they have some weeds in it going back. So I think there are some complicated issues. As a governor, we try to enforce as much as possible. So usually they have some like food truck that sell marijuana on the street. So we enforce it because you have to have a location address. You cannot open it on the food truck. So we use as much authority that we have to clean it. You know.
The current government denies that marijuana is a big business in Thailand. But here in Bangkok, there's a marijuana dispensary almost on every corner.
Yeah.
So do you acknowledge that marijuana is a business in Thailand, or is it one that should be gotten rid of?
You mean right now it's a business because you see the shop everywhere. But do we need it? I don't think there are other things that we can do.
Should people go to jail for it?
If it's, to go to jail or not, it depends on the law, right? Yeah. But I think previously it's narcotic. And I think in many countries around the world also narcotic.
But should the law be that they will go to jail for it?
I think we have we are the one who enforce the law. I mean, so I think we have to think about it, you know, the one who responsible for it. But I mean, as a private, as a person, I don't think it's a good idea to have marijuana shops near the schools, near communities, you know, and I walk past and then we can smell it. Yeah.
One of the other large legal gray areas in Thailand is sex work and sex tourism. Do you think that sex work should be legalized in Thailand?
I think it's a fact, you know. I think we should take care of them. I think they are. I think if you go at night, you can see many of them. So I think they should be thought carefully about this. Legalize would be one thing that help them, you know, because once it's illegalized, you know, it end up many under table thing, many gray area, you know. So I think it's maybe better to accept it and then legalize it, you know, somehow. But there are many constraints like our belief, our culture. So if you want to make a law to legalize it, you have to consider it in many aspects. But not that easy to say legalize it. But I think if you make it illegal, it creates opportunities for gray or underground business. You know, so like effect of the society, how you control it. You know, that it's not like a gambling. I think. Yeah. If you want to legalize it, you have to think on many other aspects. But I'm sure that when you make it illegal, it creates opportunities for corrupt people too. Yeah.
At this point in time, at any time of day, if you walk down the street in Soy Cowboy or like Nana Plaza, you will see a full mess on display. A mess. It's a mess. Okay. There's a lot of foreign tourists coming there getting very drunk. This is also the areas where sex work is forced to be because it is not yet legal, but everyone knows it's there. How do you feel about these red light districts specifically?
I think it's not good for the city with all this bad behavior on the street. It sends a signal that we don't want it to be. So I think together we have to maybe improve it, and try to legalize some part and contain it. Yeah. So what do you think about it?
What do I think about what?
The red light district.
I think it's a shame that you, the governor, are saying that in the heart of your own city can't do anything about something that you object to. That's very strange.
Yeah, but I'm not the one who enforce this law, so there are many.
So how do you bridge the gap between being the governor and the people who are enforcing the laws for you?
Okay, we have to collaborate with them. So I think you have to focus on your primary job, and then you collaborate with others, like narcotics, and so I think we'll get there.
How do you feel about the future of democracy in Thailand?
I hope it gets better, because I think the new generation will come. Old generation will go away, So we have hope with the new generation. So I think the time is on our side. Yeah.
You said that you hope that it gets better. So do you think that there's currently a problem with democracy in Thailand?
Yeah, I think everywhere. What do you think? I think we have some problems too, Like the constitution. Yeah. So it's not really democratic, I think.
You recently said that you do not plan to make your own political party, that cities are also models of leadership in the world. However, that doesn't really answer the core question of you specifically. Do you envision a role in national politics in your future?
I mean, as an independent, not easy to make big change on it, But as a local, we can do things in our level. So my ambition not go to the national politics. I think we focus more on the local level.
So you were the prime ministerial candidate for one of the parties before. You think that that's not what you would want again?
No, just a past. Yeah, I think because as an independent, we can have our own policy, our own team. We can decide on every policy that we issue. But when you go to the big politics, there are many factors that parties and many involved. I think my capacity maybe not that much. So I think we focus more on the local level. And you can see many mayors in the world are independent.